Michael Jordan was royalty. He was Elvis Presley. He was the Beatles. It was Michael Jordan versus the NBA. He was that good, and he had a charisma that was unique to him, but also that killer instinct of wanting to win. When Michael Jordan came into town, the Great Western Forum became the place to be. You couldn't live your life if you didn't get a chance to see Michael Jordan perform in person. When the Lakers and the Bulls faced each other in that 1991 finals, it was that moment where you could really say sports and entertainment were coming together. When the Bulls won that series, you know, right there you saw like kind of the passing of the torch. You know, what Michael did and what Michael accomplished and represented in the 90s inspired the next generation of talent. Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time.
When Michael Jordan played in Chicago, the crowd just went crazy to another decibel level. And I'd get the chills every time. He played with such a fury. He was electric on the court. Before the shrug game, the game against Portland in the NBA Finals, well, the public relations people couldn't find Michael. The reason was he was on the court taking three-point shots, and he was not noted as a three-point shooter. We asked him about it. He said, well, you know, you never know when a three-point shot might come in handy. Obviously, he had figured something out, that he was going to surprise them, but you have to hit the shots. This incredible onslaught of threes takes place in the first half, and he hit 6 of them. That was unheard of at that time for anyone. He looks over at our broadcast table and gives that shrug. And I think what I took out of that most, it showed his humility, that he could not believe that he hit 6 three-pointers. That was, I thought, one of the incredible moments in playoff history. I would have to go with Jordan as the GOAT.
Michael changed the game because everyone tried to do the things that he did. He would drive down, dunk on people with their tongue wagging and all that stuff. What he became, the evolution, I mean, it was like, wow. When you have a guy with the kind of notoriety, the kind of popularity that Michael has, it's good for the whole entire league. You know, y'all keep calling it the double nickel game. He dropped 55, and you know, he made a move to get to the free throw line, and I thought he was going up for the shot, and I go to try to block the shot. He dishes it off to Bill Winnington. He dunks it. That game was the coming out party for him. You know, he showed the league, the world, that he was still great, and he went on to win 3 more championships. According to him, he retired for 2 years to give the rest of us an opportunity to try to win a title. And according to him, I didn't take advantage of it, so he had to come back to show the world that he's the man.
When you win 6 championships and win MVPs and win scoring titles, you have to be considered one of the best. Michael Jordan had that and more. Going into the 1996 series against the Chicago Bulls, I was the Defensive Player of the Year. Michael was the MVP, and they had made a big deal about it. But I think my mindset was just to go in there and contain him, make him take uncomfortable shots, make him take something that's not in his rhythm, and give us a chance to win, and make other players beat us. Kukoc stepped up, Pippen stepped up, a lot of players stepped up. Michael Jordan stepped up in Game 6. He got smart about it by attacking us and getting us in situations where we're getting in foul trouble, and then we couldn't do nothing about it. In these games, I was saying anything I wanted to say to Mike, and it went back and forth, and he didn't back down. He was always strong, and he always came at me, and I loved it. I think he's one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game.
You know, I feel fortunate to have been covering the Bulls at that time and being so close to watch this transformation of this young man just becoming the greatest basketball player that's ever played. Nothing could ever stop him from winning. It was all about winning. The flu game, they called it. It could have been the pizza game because he thought it was food poisoning, and he looks horrible. He could barely talk, you know, and I didn't want to keep asking him about how you feel, this and that and the other. I could just see it in his eyes. I think he realized the situation. You have an opportunity to win a championship, and it can go away. We're not going to wait till you get better and then play the next week. The thing that always brought the greatness out in him was a challenge, and he was just zoned in, and there was nothing that was going to stop him from playing his best and winning that basketball game.
The thing that I liked most about Michael Jordan as a player was the fact that I didn't have to try to guard him. If he had a poor defensive scheme, he was going to fill the hoop up until he either figured it out or the game was over and you lost the game. Some of his acrobatic drives to the hoop are just remarkable. You know, he could get past the defense and use a little bit of English off of the glass. The ball drops in so nice. It takes some really advanced skills to do that consistently. The 1988 All-Star Game was a showcase for Michael. Michael had figured out all the things he needed to know to be a dominant player. Everything. One-on-one, couldn't guard him. What Michael Jordan showed the whole sports world was the fact that you put the right people with him, he's going to lead them to world championships, without question. He was a prime example of excellence and a leader that would lead you all the way to the top, all the way to the top. That was basketball at its finest.
Michael was a different level, man. It was a different level of competitiveness, just sheer will to win. He changed the game. He changed the game. I mean, not just in one aspect, in many aspects, in every aspect of the game, he changed it. I played against some of the greatest players in the history of this game. Michael Jordan was one of those guys that lifted my ability to the next level. We enjoyed the competition with one another. We played very hard and fiercely against one another, but it was like you had two gentlemen going head to head. Michael Jordan and I wasn't just coming down the court getting dunks at the dunks. We found creative ways to score. I can't tell you the fun and the pleasure I had to play against him. You know, and Michael and I, we never really talked about those games. It was kind of an unspoken thing between us. You know, the respect level that we had was at a different level. I think I had a great game in Atlanta, and I remember going to Chicago. Michael walks into our locker room, and we're still in suit and tie. We haven't gotten dressed yet, and he walks in our locker room, suit and tie, and I was like, what are you doing coming in our locker room? And I ain't gonna say exactly what I said. And so he walked by me, he walked by Kevin Willis, and he got to Randy Whitman, he tapped him on his butt, and he said, lace him up, it's gonna be a long night. He got 60 that night. He got 60. And it was a very close game. I think it went down to the last shot in that game, but I think he proved his point.
You think about the most complete basketball player, Michael Jordan was it. That year we won 56, 57, 58 games, something like that. We were really good. If you were going to beat us, you had to do something special. And I knew what we were up against in him. You knew it was going to be a daunting task. You're going to play your best basketball, and he's just not going to have an off game. And you're trying to make sure you manage everyone else, and hopefully he has a few misses here or there. They were struggling, and so Michael, I vividly remember one play, he came off of a screen, and he was really supposed to kick the ball to the corner, but he turned the corner, and he went to the basket. And I was like, oh, okay. And he took it upon himself to score. Went to overtime, and he was just unstoppable. And he scored, obviously 69 points. He had almost 20 rebounds. So it was remarkable to watch that and to be a part of that, because we had done everything right. And even defending him, we were getting into him, and he was taking tough shots. He was just making them. Michael Jordan took what they did to the next level because of his explosiveness, his swag, his demeanor, and ultimately his success.
Michael Jordan's flair, charisma, control, understanding the game. Nobody can do that. He was so graceful with the basketball, and he would change gears on you and change direction really, really quick. It's just amazing, man. If you see it, in person, it's like, we're like, oh, we start a fast break, somebody's gonna get dunked on, and it's gonna be Michael dunking on somebody. In the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals, I think the Bulls was really getting to figure us out. Joe Dumars used to guard him first because that's the beginning of the game. Then once he got out the game, I had to go guard him. I don't think anybody else could have guarded him. John Sally, Rick Mahorn, Bill Laimbeer, no. Whenever he got the ball, I'm pretty much like nose to nose with him because I didn't want him to do anything to embarrass me. I'm gonna name the Jordan rule. If he goes to the hole, put him on the ground. If you see some of those clips, you'll see that we just hit him every time he goes to the basket. And he's always on the ground, like in pain. But he always gets back up. He learned after a while, man, that he just took control from there. I think people really saw one of the best performances in the NBA when Michael played against us. And we didn't let anyone do that against us. But almost put 50 on us quick. Check his resume out. It's awesome. It's like, wow, this guy is amazing.